Hi guys, welcome back to Intellectual Literature. This is Gauri. Today we are going to study research methodology PYQs. Just wait few minutes. I will be back. Very good evening guys. Okay, we already discussed 1 to 22 questions. You have not watched that video, please go and watch first and come back to this. We already discussed these questions. Okay, this question. Annotated bibliography provides the options are a list of all the works cited or referred to in the research, only those works that are cited in the research, a brief summary stating importance of the work cited or referred to in the research, and finally a 250 worded abstract. I will give 10 seconds time. Okay, the answer is annotated bibliography. Option C, a brief summary stating importance of the work cited or referred to in the research. I will give explanation. Annotated bibliography and other sources that you have used in your research. Each citation is followed by a brief annotation, which is a summary and or evaluation of the source. The purpose of the annotation is to inform the reader or the relevance, accuracy and quality of the source cited. First, we should know what is annotation. Annotation is a brief explanatory note or short description of a book, article, poem or research. It summarizes the main idea, purpose and key points of the text. It gives short evolution. Okay, move on to the next thing. What is the latest edition of Chicago Manual Style, CMS? This is also important. MLA style and Chicago style. Your time starts. Okay. Your answer is option C, 17th edition. The latest edition of the Chicago Manual of Style is the 17th edition. Move on to the next question. Out of the following, which bibliographical entry follows the style prescribed in MLA Handbook 8th edition? Here we have options. Okay, move on to the answer. Option A is correct. The MLA format typically includes the author's name, the title of the work, the title of the work should be italics, and then the publisher, and then the work of publication. So here we see option A is only the correct format. Okay, move on to the next question. Which out of the following will allow you to avoid plagiarism? The options are using paraphrases or quotes by other sources in your name. Option 2, not using a plagiarism checker software before submitting the assignment. Giving credit to the original author in an in-text citation and in the list of work cited. Not keeping a proper documentation of references used. This is an easy question, you know. Okay. Using paraphrases or quotes by other sources in your name, it's totally wrong. And not using a plagiarism checker software before submitting the assignment is also wrong. Not keeping a proper documentation of references used, that is also wrong. So we have the answer, giving credit to the original author in an in-text citation and in the list of work cited is the right answer. Giving credit to the original author in an in-text citation and in the list of work cited ensures that you features of the to promoting inclusive and respectful language practice in academic is being. The next question, we know the answer. This is easy question and repeated question also. Text that indicates the source of the idea or indicates the source of the idea. Read the question roots in this. Read the question roots in this question. Here the option A, citations usually and sometimes a PMLA Chicago. And options are wrong. Sectional heading, this is just a heading within the text, not a citation. And hypothetical statement is a statement based on imagination or assumption, not referring a source. Objective, this is the aim or purpose of writing, again not a citation. Okay, move on to the next question. Literature review provides options, citation details, discussion of works already researched in a relevant subject area, a list of primary sources, provides hypotheses of the research undertaken. Okay, the options, answer is B. Review involves summarizing, analyzing, and discussing existing research in a particular field to provide context and background for new research. It belongs to reference or bibliography. Literature review uses citation, but its purpose is not to option provide citation is formatted by the researcher. Literature review only helps to research in a relevant subject area. These questions of where it is from June 2020. Next question. This question, use of broader principles of philosophical rationalized is termed as options, research methods, research tools, research techniques, conduct research. It includes the theoretical and philosophical data collection and a structured interview consists of research underscored by the options are a series of predetermined questions, a series of predetermined questions, a series of predetermined questions along with questions asked at a series of questions on the structure of the research and questions asked at random. Questions asked at random. This is June 2023 question, June 2023 Shift 1 question. This is June 2023 question, June 2023 Shift 1 question. It is a type of interview in which the researcher asks a predetermined set of questions to each candidate or subject to gather data that can be objectively analyzed. Okay, now see why other options are wrong. A series of predetermined questions along with questions. Series of predetermined questions along with questions. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is interview. To the next question. Which of the following methods is used? Orchval method of research. Orchval method of research. Your answer is ethnography. Option D, ethnography. The method used to study cultural settings is ethnography. Ethnography involves the immersive observation, that means deep observation and detailed documentation of pupils' cultural practice and human behaviors and social interactions within their natural environments. The other options, visual method of studying cultures in real settings. Means this course means there is in their particular difference and observational one. This is your first option. Second option to make a critical evaluation of a solution and formulate concepts, whereas empirical research depends on observation and experience. So option A is correct answer. Okay, conceptual research to gather data. Here we discussed conceptual research can be qualitative. What is or yes, sorry. This is also simple question. You read it carefully. Okay, your answer is option C. First, we wrote surname, put comma, and then first name of the author, insert full stop, then title of the books. That name was in the italics, then name of the publishing house, and finally year of publication. MLA style is a citation format primarily used in the humanities, especially literature, for citing sources in essays and research papers. It emphasizes in-text citation and a work cited. That page for referring. MLA 9th edition is the latest edition. This question is from 8th edition. Okay, move on to the next question. This is your December 2022 shift 1 question. Which among the following are true in the context of methods and methodologies in literary research? Your options are both and or identical in nature. Methods are concerned with how one conducts a given piece of research. Methodologies are concerned with how one conducts a given piece of research. Methodologies are concerned with the perspectives one brings to bear on one's work. Methods are concerned with the perspectives one brings to bear on one's work. If you take your time, if you want more time, pause this video, read the question, and then you answer it in your notebook or comment section. Okay, your answer is option D, B and D. Methods are concerned with how one conducts a given piece of research, and methodologies are concerned with the perspectives one brings to bear on one's work. We explained it here. Detail. Methods are concerned with how one conducts a given piece of research. That means close reading, textual analysis, interviews, surveys. Methodologies are concerned with the perspectives one brings to bear on one's work. That means feminist methodology, Marxist methodology, post-colonial methodology. And methods means techniques and procedures that gives how research is conducted. Methodology means theoretical framework or perspectives. It gives why and from which standpoint research is conducted. Here the other options. Both are identical in nature. No. Methods and methodologies are related but are not the same. Methodologies are concerned with how one conducts a given piece of research. This is also wrong. How belongs to methods, not methodology. Methods are concerned with the perspectives one brings to bear on one's work. That is also wrong. Perspectives gives methodology, not method. Okay, move on to the next question. Which of the following is not one of the don'ts of writing a dissertation or thesis? Your options are compiling a bibliography as soon as the work is started, avoid jargon wherever possible. It should be kept in mind that a dissertation or thesis should take the form of an argument in which the writer must attempt to convince the reader of his or her case. A researcher should not bother about the use of the proper scholarly conventions from the very beginning. This is your December 2022 shift to question. You take your time and answer. Option D is correct answer. A researcher should not bother about the use of proper scholarly conventions from the very beginning. This advised ignoring citation style, formatting, referencing, and academic conventions. That is wrong practice in research writing. Here is your key point, key word is don'ts. So, the option D is the correct answer. Scholarly conventions must follow from the start. In academic writing, especially when working on a dissertation or thesis, it is curious to follow proper scholarly conventions right from the start. This includes citation styles, formatting, and adherence to academic norms. Ignoring these conventions can lead to inconsistencies and a need for extensive revisions later on. Why other options are wrong? Compiling a bibliography as soon as the work is started. This is good for research. This is good research habit. Helps avoid plagiarism and saves time later. Avoid jargon wherever possible. This also we must do in your research. Academic writing values clarity and readability. Unnecessary jargon confuse readers. A dissertation or thesis should take the form of an argument. Research writing is argumentative and analytical, not just descriptive. The writer must convince the reader with evidence. Okay, move on to the next question. Which one of the following is false? An ideal literary researcher must be an unstable. An ideal literary researcher should not cast himself back into another age. An ideal literary researcher should comprehend the current attitudes or the artistic assumptions. And ideal literary researchers must have a vivid sense of history. These types of questions is a frequently asked questions. This is, I think, this is second question on this topic, ideal literary researcher. Okay, move on to the answer. An ideal literary researcher should not cast himself back into the other age. Here in this question, the keyword is false. Okay. An ideal literary researcher should not cast himself back into another age. An ideal literary researcher should cast himself back into another age to understand the historical and cultural context of the literature they are studying. The practice is essential for interpreting text within their specific time periods and appreciating their significance. Here we see why other options are true. An ideal literary researcher must be an unstable reader to develop a broad understanding of various texts, context, and interpretations. Comprehending current attitudes or artistic assumption is important for literary researchers as it helps them understand how literature is received and interpreted in contemporary context. Having a vivid sense of history is crucial for a literary researcher, as literature often reflects historical events, social changes, and cultural movements. Okay, move on to the next question. Which among the following is devoted to the enlightenment of criticism? It seeks to illuminate the work of art as it really is. It has no connection with the proffered information. It tries to see the writer as he really was. Take your time and answer it. I will move on to the answer. Option C, A, B, and statement she has no connection with the proffered information. Literary research is deeply connected with the collected data, evidence, references, and documentation. No connection makes the statement incorrect because literary research is closely tied to the information available, such as historical context, author's background, textual analysis, etc. Literary research relies heavily on available information to inform. Okay, it supports, refines, and as it really is. Context of. Okay, I close this video. Remaining questions we discussed in upcoming video. Subscribe channel for more UGC NET exam. First, we should analyze PYQs and then syllabus and then mock test. Okay, we will continue the remaining questions in the next class. I wind up the session.